Okay, happy Hanukkah and Afternoon Testament Aleph. Just continuation of the share of saying I don't know. Like it's more that I don't know today than I didn't know yesterday. But we'll see. We'll probably finish the parak today, but the very hot sugya. Just to read it, the Rishonim are being matchik to read the words. So just some kind of upshot. The sugya was talking about gidulim. And yesterday the Gemara surprised us after the whole machlokes of Gedulim Amabatel the Ikar. So it brought our Mishnah. Our Mishnah spoke about Nedarim, and it said in the Sefer, not the Reisha. The Reisha says that he's answering Hanoah, so then the Gedulim are included, even the Chilufin, even the exchange is also included. That's not the Sugya. Sugya is the Sefer where it says that I'm only answering to eat, Shani Ochel, Shani Toin. So then it says that the Gedulim are mutter because they only asked themselves to eat this thing. So the things that grow out are mutter. But davar she'ein zara kala, afilu gedulim asurim. That's what the Gemara is going on. These last words, maybe I can highlight it. I didn't highlight anything today. The davar, I'm sorry, the next one. The davar she'ein zara kala. That's the Mishnah. But davar she'ein zara kala gedulim asurim. That's the Mishnah. The Gemara has a kasha from here. Something. What do you see? So the whole time we talk, so just a little bit to recap yesterday's last 5-10 minutes. So far this is the Mishnah, but everything is us. And the Gemara says that has something to do with our whole sugya. Our whole sugya, just to go back with 2 pages, was talking about that the hanacha, the premise was gedulim amuter, and the ikka was us. That was the case. And now the question was if the gedulim of heter are able to be mevatel this. That was the subject. And we went through it with some hurdles up and down, but that was the subject. If the gedulim of heter are able to be mevatel the ikka of us. Here brings a Mishnah that says that the gedulim are asa, even gedulim are asa. And that's supposed to be a kasha. What's the kasha? We're talking about the whole time if gedulim of heter are able to be mevatel the ikka of asa. Here it tells us then that davar she'ein zara kala, even the gedulim, everything is asa. The gedulim are asa. If the gedulim asa has nothing to do with our subject is talking about the gedulim of heter and the ikka is asa. Could the gedulim be mevatel?
Because it's kail in the neder itself. It's not.
No, that's not. That's the Reisha. The Reisha was talking about the neder itself. So it said that if he asks the hana, then he asks everything, even the gedulim. But he's talking about, he only said shani yochel shani toin. He only asked the eating this thing. Kono peraselo alai shani toin. So that's why he says that davar she'ein zara kala, davar she'zara kala, takei gedulim amuter. But for davar she'ein zara kala, if it's an onion that doesn't disintegrate, so then everything is awesome.
Because it's considered the thing itself, right?
So what does it have to do with our subject about gedulim being matir the isser? We spoke the whole time without thinking maybe, but we spoke the whole time that the gedulim are mutter and the ikar is aser, and we want to know if you're able to be mevatel the isser part. The gedulim are mutter. The only question was if the ikar is going to become mutter. Bittul, like any kind of bittul. You have a kosher piece of meat, you have a treif piece of meat. Is it a mevatel? And that's how we learned the sugya for this stuff and a half. If the gedulim of heter are mevatel the ikar of Isser. And here the Gemara comes with a place that says in our Mishnah that the gedulim of a davar she'ein zara kala are aser. And that's the kasha. So the Rosh explains, the Gemara, that it's going to work one way or the other. If the gedulim are not able to be mevatel the Isser, then the Isser is going to spread out because it's mitpashet, and it's going to go into the Isser. It's going to give tam ke'ikar. It's mitpashet, and the Isser is going to aser the gedulim. That means that there is no subject of the gedulim. That's what it sounds like. That there is no such thing as, we started off the whole sugya that the gedulim are mutter and the ikar is aser. That's not the case. If the gedulim are able to be mevatel, then the Isser is going to become mutter. And if the gedulim are not able to become to be mevatel the Isser, so then the Isser is going to make the gedulim aser. And that's what the Gemara sees there. If it says here that the gedulim are aser, as says in our Mishnah, davar she'ein zara kala afilu gedulim aser. You know why? Because the gedulim are not able to be mevatel the Isser, and therefore the Isser makes the gedulim aser. The gedulim are aser not inherently. When it says here, we learned the Mishnah, davar she'ein zara kala, the thing is here, the original thing is still here, and it's aser. And the gedulim are also aser. The Gemara says no, that the gedulim should really be mutter. The only reason that the Gidulim are also is because they was not able to be Mevatel the Issa. Is that what you're going to say?
I want to go back go back a step. Not really. Okay, fine.
No, it depends how far back we are.
I was learning over the Mishnah this morning. I realized I didn't even get the Mishnah clear. Kind of Paris Eilai, so it's also do the family do them. Why?
Because he answered it. He answered even the exchange. This has nothing to do with the sugya then. Because he answered even Gidulim. He said, I'm answering even Gidulim per se, even Gidulim per se. That's what he chose to answer.
When he said
That's not answer. He's only answering this thing.
The way it is.
To answer this thing. The eating of this thing. And the only reason the Gidulim are going to be us is because that thing went into the Gidulim. And that's the and that the more brings this as a sugya. And if it says that the Gidulim are usher is because they weren't able to be Mevatel the Isser. So the Gidulim are not going to be usher inherently. The Gidulim are going to be usher because the Iker is answering them. Why is the Isser answering them? Because the Gidulim were not able to be Mevatel the Isser. That's how the Rosh used to explain the Gemara's Kasha over here. Since the Farmisha says that the Davar Shein Zayir Kol the Gidulim are usher, that means that they were not able to be Mevatel the Heter, and that's why they're usher. Not that they're inherently usher, that wouldn't have anything to do with our sugya. They're usher because the Isser, the Iker usher them. Why did the Iker usher them? Why didn't they become Batel in the Gidulim? Because the Gidulim are not able to be Batel the Isser.
In the case of onions or something?
Yeah. That's how I said this over yesterday. That's what we like tomorrow. Yeah, that's why I'm back a little bit.
Okay.
So that's the Gemara's Kasha. That's the Gemara's Kasha that you see from our Mishnah that the Gidulim are not able to be Batel the Iker. Amr Rabbi Abba, Shani Kunamos, Hal the boy Mitchell Allah, you have a little double sheish lamatirin. We also did this yesterday also. That a new thing that there's a thing called double sheish lamatirin, which we had really a page ago on Daf Nun Ches. The Gemara said the Bryce over there of Shimon Nomer called double sheish lamatirin like Tevel, Meiser, Sheni, Hektish, Chadash. These things are going to have a way to become mutter without being mevatel them. So there's a general rule double sheish lamatirin doesn't become batel. If it's a question of time, waiting for time, or some situation that you can do, you can be poded, that's also going to be called Avasheshla material, so don't rely on that. So how are we going to explain our Mishnah? That a neder is called Avasheshla material because you can be mata neder. So in general, we're going to say Gidulim would be able to be, there's nothing special about Gidulim that can't be Mevatel. Gidulim could be Mevatel. There's nothing unique about Gidulim that we had a whole sugya that maybe it stands on its own. It's not Soma Urib. Chaim David said because it's only the hour later. Whatever the reason is going to be, the Gemara thought maybe Gidulim are not Mevatel. The Gemara is saying no, we don't see that. Gidulim could be Mevatel. Like anything else, Gidulim could be Mevatel. But it happens to be they can't do Bittel on Nedarim because of the Sheish material. There's nothing to do with Gidulim. If you have a piece of bread that was Nesar ben Neder and it got mixed into 1,000, does it become batel? No, because it's the Sheish material. Go on, be Mata Neder. So the reason why the Gidulim are Aser is because a Neder is a Davar She Yesh Lo material. Why is Davar Sheish Lo material? Because you could be Mata Neder. That's Rabbi Abbas Teresh Shani Konomos. How be boy Mitchell Alayu have a look at Davar Sheish Lo material. Fail battle below.
We started that yesterday.
We got till here. We got till there. Now the Gemara continues. New Gemara. Bari Truma, the boy Mitchell Allah Ubatli. If you say this Mars is going to New Chiddush, nothing to do with the sugya of going on a cruise now. Yeah, we're going into sugya Davar Sheish Lo material. Right? Mishnah needs to be shoel. To be shoel on that means to ask a chacham and it should be matin. So the Gemara now is going off the subject. We'll come back again today to Gidulim, but the Gemara is going a little bit, the small minor cruise, to go off to the subject of Davar Sheish Lo material. It has nothing to do with Gidulim. We talk about Davar Sheish Lo material, even if everything is just pieces on the bowl. It's all, nothing's growing. It's a question if this item is called Davar Sheish Lo material, that it doesn't become batel. And you said a chiddush now, that the fact that you could be mata neder is the reason that it's called Yesh Lo material. That's a chiddush. Maybe that's not called Yesh Lo material. Maybe only if it's a question of time or a question of being poda, but a question of being mata neder, is that considered Davar Sheish Lo material? So you said yes. The fact that the neder here is a Davar Sheish Lo material because you could be mata neder. That's called shoal on the neder. If so, truma also, you could be shoal on the truma also. Someone says, I raise a truma, you could retract it. You could be shoal on the truma. Maybe we didn't learn that yet, but just like you mata neder, you also could be mata truma. You could say, I didn't mean, if I would have known whatever the case is, however, is mata is shoal on the truma. If I would have known that it would have caused a problem, it would have fallen into a lot and it would have answered it also, I never would have meant it. Whatever the case is, So there's such a thing as being show. That has like a neder. When you say I raise a truma, it's like you're being miyachid. So you could also retract it. And the Gemara is asking, you can retract truma. And what happens if you retract truma? It becomes tevel again. It becomes like it was untied.
You have to start. You're starting.
Yes, it's not again. It's not again. So
And you have
the Gemara says, according to your svara, that the fact that you can be shoel, you can be mater and neder, makes that it's called davasheshel material. So truma also should be a davasheshel material, and you shouldn't be able to be mevatel truma. If truma fell into a robe or 100 times, whatever it might be, 1,000 times, it shouldn't be bottled because you could be shown on the truma. And the truth is that truma is bottled. It's called davar she'ein lo material. And the truth is that the Brisa says so. If we turn back to the Nun Zayin Amar Aleph, Mamash had said beferish, when he gave the list of davar she'ein lo material, Nun Ches Amar Aleph, that's a page ago, right? So it said davar she'ein lo material, tevel, ma'aser sheni, hektish, chodesh. Then it's the fil bel bottle, but chol davar she'ein lo material, you go in truma. Truma's ma'aser, chala, orla, kalaikim. It gives other examples. Says right away, truma is called ein lo material. And the Gemara is questioning that now. The Gemara is saying that you said that according to you, it should be called davar she'ein lo material. The fact that you could be shoel on the truma, you could be mater the truma, you could retract the truma, so it should be called davar she'ein lo material. It shouldn't be bottle. But the Gemara doesn't bring the Brisa before. The Gemara says the Gemara wants to bring a Mishnah, so it's going to attack our Yesod by showing that truma is bottle.
And if this buttly, it doesn't mean buttly barov. It means that the
You have to
truma is
have
buttly.
100, whatever, bottle below, whatever.
No,
you
that
have
is just to erase the robe.
because you have to have more than robe, you have to have 100 times or more in order to be mevatel truma. That's a technicality.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, you can take it off. Yesterday I did put in parentheses.
I
Buttly.
see. It's not robe, it's 100.
Yeah,
Whatever.
but the point is that it is bottle, and according to you,
Yeah.
that a davar she'efshar lishol olav, that you could be retracted, so it's called yesh lo material. So truma should not be bottle, and the fact that it is bottle, and it goes on to bring a mishnah to show that truma is bottle. And the Rishon Mass, there are many mishnahs that truma is bottle. You have to we're going to bring a diuk and a mishnah that truma is bottle. Many, it's all over the place that truma is bottle in 100. Why did I want to bring this one? We'll see as we go on. It's not. So a truma tmeya enough to the box meya chulin teirake. If one measure of truma tmeya fell into less than 100 of chulin, so it's not bottled because it's less than 100 times teirake. So then there's nothing to do with it. Let it just spoil. There's nothing to do with it. Truma tmeya you can't eat. A kohen also can't eat it. There's no way to make the truma tmeya tohar. So, and it's not bottled because it's less than 100. So there's nothing to do with this. So the whole thing, all of it, 99, everything has to be spoiled because you can't eat it because there's some truma tmeya mixed inside. But it only says, because that's the Mishnah, and only because it's less than 100. But if it will be 100, then it will be bottled, halameya. But if it would have fallen, that's the end of the Mishnah by Teirake. But the more it goes on, halameya, if it would have fallen into 100 times, then tala, then it is bottled. The word tala means it's all of the that it becomes bottled.
It becomes bottle and
the whole thing is not here. The loses is that then everything is good, nothing. Probably everything is good chulin. It's bottle. It's bottle, not good truma. It's good chulin.
Into chulin.
It fell into 100 chulin. If one saw of truma tmei fell into 100 chulin, so the whole thing is chulin kosher chulin. You see that truma is bottle. You see truma is bottle. And you're saying that truma should not be bottled because it's you could retract on the truma. You should say that it's davar she'ein lo material, and therefore should not be bottled. Here it says that it is bottled. Okay, that's fine. That's not the point. That's not.
Okay.
So that's the kasha. If you say that
So we're saying that there is bottle.
what?
There is
bottle by truma, and there are many mishnayos. The Rosh points out there are many mishnayos that say that truma is bottled. Well, we have to figure out soon why does it only say this mishnah. But all over the place, it says that truma is bottled, and according to your Yesod, that's something that you could retract is called davar she'ein lo material, and it's not bottled, like by the Nedarim. So then truma also should be the same thing; it shouldn't be bottled. Amri, so we'll say a teretz.
It's bittul rove, and yet it's still something that can be retracted. That's our concept.
Right. Take out the word robe.
Bittul 100. Yeah.
Bittul is bottled. It becomes bottled, and it's davar she'ein lo. You said it's davar she'ein lo material because you said by Nedarim davar she'ein lo material. So truma is also davar she'ein lo material. For the same reason, if you say the fact that you could retract makes the davar she'ein lo material, you could retract truma also. So it should be davar she'ein lo material. It shouldn't be bottled. It says that it is bottled.
Yeah.
So we're going to say we're right, and truma is not bottled because this is davar she'ein lo material. Amri, they said the teretz, the truma will be at Kohen Askina. The lo matzi mitchalole. Regular truma is davar sheish l'matirin, and it's not batal. The case that this Mishnah says is mashma at least, that bittul does work, and the Rosh will say, and all the Mishnayos that it says that bittul truma is batal, is only in the case where it's ready in the hands of the Kohen. The Yisrael has a tevel, and he's mafresh truma. If it's in his house, then it's still called, before he gave it over to the Kohen, it's still called Avasheshla material because he could retract, and it's not bottle. If it falls into 1,000, it's not going to become bottle because the Avasheshla material retract. But once he gave it to the Kohen, so then he can't retract anymore because it's not in his domain to retract anymore. So the whole thing that it says that Truma is bottle, it's only once the Kohen has it. We're sticking to our guns, as they say, that the fact that you could be retract makes it a Davasheshla material. Davasheshla material is not bottle. That's why Neder is not bottled, because you can retract. And Truma also, as long as it's in the hands of the Yisrael who designated it, he has the power to retract, and therefore it's Avasheshla material, and therefore it's not bottled. All the Mishnahs where it says that it is bottled, Truma's bottled, is only in the case that he gave it to the Kohen already.
Like this Mishnah that we just had.
Right. This Mishnah plus another 10 Mishnahs that says that Truma's bottled is only once it's by the Kohen. Once the Kohen got it, so then the Yisrael can't be Shoel anymore, because it's not in his domain. The Kohen also can't be Shoel because he wasn't the one who made the Truma. So that's the case. But Hanami was still persisting that if you could be Shoel on the Truma, it's called Davasheshla material, and it's not bottled. Yachi, read on that you can't say that's talking about the Kohen. The Yachi, Amos Sefer, continue the mission over there, and Moiseh Tahora, over there it said Moiseh Truma Tameya. That's the case before it said that if it was Truma Tameya, so then Teroke, because it had nothing to do with it, and not with the other 99 that it fell into. But if it was Truma Tahora, then what?
Sell it to the Kohen.
Timochel Kohen. Sell it to the Kohen, because you have to, it's not bottled, and it's right, give it to the Kohen. The guy just say eat it. The Moiseh Torah eat it. If it's by the Kohen, it must be that it's by the Yisrael still. It's mashma that it's still by the Yisrael. So it says that the Timochel Kohen, and the Kohen could use it. But we're talking about that it's by the Kohen. So I wouldn't say Timochel Kohen. They should just say he's allowed to eat it with water. So we're not happy. It doesn't sound like it's by the Kohen. It sounds like by the Yisrael still. So Gemara says, I'll give you a case that it's not by the original Yisrael, and it's also not by the Kohen. We want to find the case that it's not by the original Yisrael, because it else will be Davasheshla material, and it wouldn't be bottled. And also we want to say it's not done by the Kohen, because it says openly it's not done by the Kohen. It's not by the Kohen. So we'll say it's talking about Elaima b'Yisrael she'nofalomi be'savi imo Kohen. That this Kohen, the Yisrael gave it. The Yisrael took off the Truma and gave it to the Kohen, and the Kohen died.
When it says the Shenaflu,
I'll say in a second. I'll say the case, then we'll fit into the words that the Kohen died, and he had a grandson who's Yisrael. It's possible to have a Kohen could have a grandson who's Yisrael if his daughter marries Yisrael. So his grandson is Yisrael, and he has the Truma, and it fell now into 99 or 100.
he has the Truma.
So he's not able to be Shoel because he wasn't the one who made it. It was the Yisrael who gave it to his grandfather before he died.
And that's why he gives it to the Kohen.
And then it says if it becomes Truma Tameya, so then Teroke, because it wasn't butter. If it was Truma Tahora, so then
give it to a Kohen because
sell it to a Kohen. Why does it say such a fancy case that the guy died? Why did it say keep it by the Kohen? I don't know. It wants to tell you this then. I don't know why it says such a fancy case.
What, Shenaflu?
Yeah, talk about the Kohen.
It says that. That the Kohen gave the Truma as a gift to somebody else.
Well, yes, and what's it say?
It's not normal that the Kohen should give a gift to gift of Truma.
No, he didn't give a gift, so he has it. Say that he has it, then he could eat it. Why be so fancy? He doesn't want to say that in Truma Torah you could eat. Truma Temeya you have to take up. So why say that he doesn't have it and he has to sell to Kohen? A little strange. Why?
The grandson lives in the grandfather's house.
No, why should he live in the grandfather's house? He got a Yerusha from his grandfather. His grandfather had a silo full of grain, of Truma, that he got from Yisrael. And now he died, and it goes to his grandson to Yisrael. And it fell into 99, so it's not bottle. So if it's Tameh, the whole thing goes to the garbage. And if it's Tor, so then sell it to a Kohen. Because he can't eat it. But the Gemara says also not good enough. But Katani Sefer, We didn't read the whole words. It says Timochel Kohen, but it doesn't say that. Don't stop. It says Timochel Kohen. Chushmet may also sell it to a Kohen. How much? It fell into 99 altogether. Let's say altogether you have 99. Whatever the case is, altogether you have 99. Sell it for the price of the
99.
of 98. Whatever. Sell.
No,
One fell into 10.
I thought one fell into 99.
Okay, one fell into 99 and it's not bottle. So sell the 100 for the price of 99.
Or sell the 100 for the
Means
price.
that you're allowed to benefit from the price of the chulin because it's your chulin, but the one that is truma you're not allowed to benefit from because you have to give it to the kohen. So sell it for the price of 100 of 99. That doesn't make sense. If the case is that the kohen died and he gave you the kohen had this truma and he died and he bequeathed it to his grandson. So it belongs right. That belongs to the grandson now. The grandson owns the truma. He's the Yisrael who owns truma. So when he wants to sell it, he doesn't have to sell it 100 for the price of 99. He sells 100 for the price of 100. So it also doesn't make sense. So even as dachak as it is, doesn't make sense either because it says that it's by the original Yisrael, not by the Yisrael who got it from his grandfather the kohen. So why don't we prove that it's back to the house of the original Yisrael, and he could be shoel on it, and it's still batel. That means you don't consider the fact that you could be shoel on it doesn't make it into a davar sheish lo material. And therefore, our Mishnah, go back to our Mishnah, you're wrong. You said that the case of Neder, the reason why it's not batel is because of davar sheish lo material, because you could be shoel. That's not true. The fact that you could be shoel doesn't make it a davar sheish lo material, because we see that truma is batel, even though you could be shoel on it. And we try to get out of it. It's talking about it's by the Kohen, by the grandson. It's not. It's by the original Yisrael, and he could be shoel on it, and still it's called davar sheish lo material. So we knocked off the teretz that we said.
And that's why the Gemara brought after this mission.
Right, and that's why the Gemara brought after this mission was all
which proves that
that it's talking about that it's not by that it is by the original Yisrael. All the other Mishnahs where it says that Truma is batel, you could have said it's talking about it's biat Kohen or the grandson. But if it be by the original Yisrael, you would say that it is a davar yesh lo material and it can't be batel, but it's not true. So we've successfully proved that Truma is batel and it's not called davar yesh lo material. So back to our problem. So why is the Dora not batel? It must be because gedulim are not batel the ikar. So the Gemara says we'd like to make a small amendment. Elaima mishlam akanamos mitzvah. That's the point. Mitzvah. That word changes everything. Mitzvah la shuli alayim. You shouldn't have Nasan. Dam Rabbi Nasan kol anod kilo bona bama. Pamakayim kilo makti Allah. But truma, my mitzvah la shuli Allah. Period. There's a difference between a dharma and truma. We didn't mean to say that since you could be shoel on the neder, mata neder, that's the word could. We didn't say because you could be mata neder, that makes it davar sheish lo material. We say because it's a mitzvah to be mata neder. When a person makes a neder, it's a mitzvah that he should be mata neder. He shouldn't fulfill the neder. It says, Rabbi Nosson said, we had this before someplace. We had Yevamis, it says over there that it's not good to make a neder. And if you did make a neder, you should be mata neder. Rabbi Nosson says, if anybody makes a neder, it's like he built a bama, not a mizbeach. And if he's makayim the neder, it's like he was maktir on the bama. So it means that if you should not make a neder, don't make a neder. Tova shaloti dor. And if you made a neder, so instead of fulfilling it, better to be mata neder.
You said that?
Rabbi Nosson.
There is a Tana?
There is a Tana, Rabbi Nosson. I imagine that is the Tana. I don't. Here says the Amar. Shouldn't have Nosson, Dam Rav Nosson. I don't remember. But
everyone who say it again.
Anybody that makes a neder is this if he built a bama, and anybody that fulfills this neder is like he wore a carbon on it. One problem to build a bama, one is to use it.
Even worse.
So, but by truma there is no mitzvah to be mata. You're allowed to be retracted truma. That doesn't make it into a davar sheish lo material. The fact that it's because you don't have to. You could, you don't have to. But by a neder, which it's a mitzvah to be mata neder, so then, as the Rosh says at the bottom, it's considered like it's omeid to become mata. It's omeid to become mata. It's omeid to become a davar sheish lo material. So that's why over there it's not batel. At the end of that sugya, what happened? The whole sugya for 2 pages was talking about agidulim matir the ikar. Is a mavatal the ikar or not? And the Gemara had a machlokus about it. Rabbi Yonas and Rabbi Yochanan said not. Rabbi Yanai said yes. The Gemara said, what a proof at the end that Shvius, we do find that the Gedulim Amater the Iker, the Gedulim of the 8th year, Amabatel the 7th year. The Gemara said over there, well, everyone's Makel, everyone's Maskim over there. because it happens by itself automatically without any man in this. It changes from the 6th to the 7th, 7th to the 8th. But if you put in a manual input, a human input, so then Rabbi Yochanan says that the Gedulim are not mevatel. The Gemara Kasha from this our Mishnah that sounds like the Gedulim are not mevatel, which sounds like it's on Rabbi Yochanan's side. The one says it's not a right from our Mishnah because our Mishnah might be a Davar Sheish Lo Matirin. Why is it Davar Sheish Lo Matirin? Because it's a mitzvah to be matir neder. But Truma remains a Davar She'ein Lo Matirin because it's not a mitzvah to be matir, to retract the Truma. You may, but it's not a mitzvah. So therefore that remains a Davar She'ein Lo Matirin, and it is batal. Truma is batal.
When is the mitzvah to retract?
Neder.
Even if someone made a neder, it's a mitzvah. Because Mekayim Kilu Bana,
Right, that's what it says. That's good so far? Gufa. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. Back to Rabbi
I'm sorry,
Yochanan.
what were the last 4 words? My mitzvah.
Is there a mitzvah to be shoal on the Truma? My mitzvah l'shuli. What's the mitzvah by neder? There is a mitzvah to be shoal on the neder. By Truma, is there a mitzvah to be shoal on the neder?
I see.
No. And since no, that's why it's called Davar She'ein Lo Matirin. The Gemara goes back 2 pages ago. Rabbi Yochanan. Where's that? One Zayin on the base. Gufa Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said earlier, literal v'tzon shetikna v'zor m'saser slapikula. That was the case we had a couple of pages ago. That you had chulin onions. You already took care of it. It was tevel. You took a very good Jew. You had chulin onions and he planted them like he's supposed to. And now it grew, and you have many more onions, and you want to take off meiser. How much meiser do you take off? From all the produce, or do you subtract the first original produce that you put in? That's already chulin. Does it lose its identity of chulin and become like everything else tevel? So Rabbi Yochanan said that it loses its identity and it becomes tevel, and you have to be master on the whole thing. Mr. Saraslafikuli, you give master on the whole thing, not only on the growth, even give it on the original. That's the point out to come over there. As the Kasha Rabbi Yochanan himself. The Gemara doesn't ask it like that, but Rabbi Yochanan is the one who says that Gedulim are not mevatel, and here he's saying Gedulim are mevatel. The Gemara says the Chumar Shani over there is coming to be machmir to say that the Chulin becomes tevel. He is machmir. But anyway, let's forget about that a little bit. Here, Rabbi Yochanan seems to say that the Gedulim are not mevatel. The Gemara seems not to go back to the sugi before that he said it's only a Chumra really holds Gedulim are not mevatel. Till now, Rabbi Yochanan is the big man who says who's machmir. He says Gedulim are not mevatel. In this case, he says it is that yes mevatel in order to be machmir, to say that the chulin became tevel. But the Gemara is taking Rabbi Yochanan now to be the mandamar that says that gedulim are not mevatel. Gedulim are yes mevatel. I'm sorry. Here the case is that gedulim are mevatel. You have to master the whole thing. So this is saying gedulim are mevatel. Before the Gemara said it's only being machmir to say so, but otherwise he holds gedulim are not mevatel. But here the Gemara just takes him as to be the mandamar that Gedulim are mevatel. That was what Rabbi Yochanan said. Yosef Rabbah, Rabbah was saying over this member of Rabbi Yochanan that the onions of chulin become tevel, which is another way of saying that the Gedulim are mevatel the ikar. The Gedulim of tevel are mevatel the ikar of chulin also becomes tevel. Amalei Rav Chisda said to Rabbah, "Ma'an sayislach ul Rabbi Yochanan Rabbah." Who's going to listen to you and to your Rabbi Yochanan? It means Rabbah said it over in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. And Rabbi Chisda is protesting that it's wrong, and no one should listen to you or to Rabbi Yochanan, your Rebbe. Just to point out that that Taisus makes a big deal out of this. He doesn't say it over here, but you find that Rabbi Yochanan is Rebbe of Rabbah. We had at the end of Ksubah, just to call over there. It says that the brothers of Rabbah sent him to come to Eretz Yisrael. He told them this in the Gemara at the end where it talks about Eretz Yisrael. So then the brothers of Rabbah sent him. They were in Eretz Yisrael. They sent Rabbah a message. He should come to Eretz Yisrael also. And in the give and take over there, they say, and if you think you have nobody to learn from over here, you have Rabbi Yochanan. So that sounds like our Gemara that Rabbi Yochanan
instruction from Rabbi Yochanan, or they were just saying on their own to bring their brother.
This is on their own. They said, our brother Rabbi, come to Eretz Yisrael. If you think that you don't have a Rebbe to learn from, you do. You have Rabbi Yochanan over here. It doesn't say the end of the story, but Taisus brings someplace that you find Here it says Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi. That doesn't bring this, but here it says Rabbi Yochanan your Rebbe. So it does sound that Rabbi went to was Rabbi Yochanan was Rabbi's Rebbe. It doesn't say openly he went. Maybe he just heard about it. Maybe he didn't go to him. Tais brings the other Gemaras also. The Tais even proves from here that Tais proves not from here, from other Gemaras similar that Rabbi did go to Eretz Yisrael because he sees that Rabbi Yochanan is his Rebbe, so he went to Eretz
Oh, in
Yisrael.
other words, when they said you have a rabbi here.
So did he listen? Did he come? It doesn't say over there.
Yes, this could be the proof.
Maybe.
So what did Rav Chesed say?
If Chisda said who's going to listen to you and your Rabbi Yochanan?
It's a yes.
Tais means to listen in Aramaic. And
Who's going to listen?
that means you're wrong. Who's going to listen to you and Rabbi Yochanan, your Rebbe, that you say that the chulin became tevel? You said the chulin became tevel. You had a basal, you had a kilo of chulin onions, and you planted it, and it came now 10 kilo. And now you say I have to take off mice from all 10 kilo. And you consider the chulin became tevel. Who's going to listen to that? Where did they have to go? There was a kilo of chulin onions, and now you're saying that it became tevel. Where did they go? There's a kilo of. Now the words are very poetic. Where did they have to go? But Rush seems to learn simple that it means that it should not be mevatel. Very simple words that Rav Chisda holds. Not the words of the Gemara. The Gemara says, "Where did they have to go?" But the Rush explains. He means to say, Gidulim are not mevatel the ikar. You had a kilo of chulin, and now you got 9 more kilo of tevel, and you wanted to know, and you say, Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yochanan, your Rebbe, you say that the tevel nullifies the chulin, and it becomes tevel also. No, gidulim are not mevatel the ikar. Even though the words don't mamish talk this language, the Ran has a fancy shot here, that even though Issachar could become batal, Heter doesn't become batal. The Ran goes like that in the Gemara. But the Rush doesn't. The Rush goes simple. The question is back to the same subject we're talking about for 2 pages. Are Gidulim mevatal deker? And Rav Yochanan said that Gidulim are not mevatal deker. And Rav Chisda says, sorry. Rav Yochanan said Gidulim are mevatal deker, and therefore the Chulim became tevel. And Rav Chisda is asking that the Gidulim should not be mevatal the tevel. It's quite strange over here because for the first 2 pages, Rav Yochanan was one.
Right, he was
one who said the Gidulim are not mevatal. He said, "Yeah, I'm achmir only," and here the Gemara seemed to forget about it.
right.
I don't know the answer. And the Gemara takes a Yochanan to be the mandama that Gidulim are mevatal deker. And if Chisda is the one who says Gidulim are not mevatal, and he says, "Who's going to listen to you?" The Gidulim are not mevatal deker, and the Chulin remains Chulin. Amalei. So Rabbi said back to Rabbi Yochanan. Now we'll come back into the sugi of Gidulim is mevatel or not. Milo Tana, the Chavasa. Don't we have a similar case where it says that Gidulim are mevatel deker, and we had this mission already. The Psalm Shadu Aleim Geshamim, Let Simchu, Amid Beis, how you all in Shalan Shchor and Asu and Arika Mutarin. That they spoke about that you had onions of the 6th year, and it rained, and they grew more, and it became even a dark green, whatever the case is going to be, that is considered strong gidulim, and it says that it becomes asa, means that the shvius, the part that it grew during the 7th year, does make it asa. So you are saying that the gidulim, you have Chisda saying that the gidulim are not mevatel the ikar. Here it says that the gidulim are mevatel the ikar because it says that the onion grew in the 6th year and then it continued growing in the 7th year. It does become maser. That means that the gidulim of the 7th year are able to be mevatel the heter of the 6th year. How come it's aser the ones that have a dark green? That means that it's gidulim of the 7th year. Why is it aser? The part of it grew in the 6th year. Don't you see that the 7th year growth is able to be mevatel the 6th year growth? That's Rabba's proof that the gidulim are not mevatel. Are mevatel the ikar. You had 6th year onions that grew also in the 7th year, and that became asa because of the 7th year. And even the 6th year part also becomes asa. So the same thing, the tevel is going to be mevatel the chulin. You had onions that you planted that were chulin, and then it grew 9 more kilo of tevel. It's mevatel the original kilo of chulin. Rabbi thinks that it says the same thing over here, that it says that the part that grew in the 7th year is mevatel the part that was in the 6th year, and the whole thing becomes an onion of shvius. When we learned this, we didn't have to talk about this part, that the 7th year is mevatel the part of the 6th year. We just said that the 7th year is shvius, the 6th year is, that we spoke in the second part, that you had that it was grew from the 7th to the 8th, and over there the question was if the 8th year growth is going to be mevatel the shvius, then it's going to be mutter. We didn't talk about this part, but here Gemara is talking about the ratio, that the 6th year grew into the 7th year, and it seems to say, that's what the most thinks it says, that the 6th year part of the onion, the original onion, all becomes completely shvius. It all becomes shvius. Not only does the growth become shvius, even the part which was 6th also. And he says it's the same case as I said. I said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that the tevel is mevatel the original chulin. So too, because here it says also that the 7th year growth is mevatel the 6th year growth and makes it all into shvius. So he told them, Rav Chisda said, it doesn't say that. Amalei misavas alikir katani, atos efes katani. Asurin. When it says asurin, this word over here, asurin, who says that it means that even the 6th year grow part, the ikr becomes shvius? The 6th year remains the 6th year, and whatever grew in the 7th year is asur. That's all he said. And I said that the gedulim are going to be asur, but not that the gedulim also asur, even the original one. So it doesn't say that. Who says that asurin means even the ikr, that the ikr which was mutter, 6th year, became asur because of the 7th year? It just means that the tosefes, that whatever got added on in the 7th year, that's asur, and it's a onion which is partly mutter, partly asur. If so, the tevel with the chulin that you planted, it became more onions of tevel, so the tevel is tevel, the chulin is chulin, and when you take off meiser only on 9. Don't take off meiser on 10. But the Gemara continues with this and says, is that true that you can have something which is going to be part mutter, part asur? Yachi ma yasur Rav Shimon Gamliel. But the Gemara is going to bring a statement of a brayso of Rav Shimon Gamliel that has a case where something stays partly mutter, partly asur, and the Gemara thinks it's only Rav Shimon Gamliel. According to your new pshat, Rav Chisda, you're saying that this mishnah about the onions with the shishis and shvius, that is partly mutter, partly asur. That seems that we know that's a famous Rav Shimon Gamliel, and you're saying that this mishnah also like that. The Tanya of Shimon Gamliel Omer, Hagadol b'chiyav chayiv, Hagadol b'ptor pater. So I wouldn't know what it's talking about. The Russia is talking about a tree, which is partly in Chutz La'aretz and partly in Eretz Yisrael. Whatever goes, I'm not sure the case exactly, but there'll be cases that part of it is chayiv, part of it is pater. So, and it sounds like only Rav Shimon Gamliel is like that. And you're saying that this time also, what he says that it grew from the 6th and into the 7th year. You say that. It remains that way. That whatever grew in the 7th is asur, whatever grew in the 6th day is mutter. That's only Rav Shimon Gamliel, and you're saying that it's this Tana also. Tana Kama Nami Yachi Amar. Our Tana Kama doesn't mean Tana Kama. The Russians has difficulty. The words don't sound like this at all. The words in this page are very hard. The horror. The Gemara seems to bring a Rav Shimon Gamliel with a Tana Kama. There's no Tana Kama. We're saying that Rav Shimon Gamliel is a different sugi altogether. Someplace in Gittin, and here we're saying that our Tana in Shvius also holds the same thing. I think more surprised that Rav Shimon Gamliel seems to be a lone Tana, and he is saying that this brayso holds like him. That's the Gemara's caution. Again, the Gemara Rabbi thought that this brayso where it says the 6th year onion grew into the 7th year, that the whole thing becomes asur. Not only the 7th year growth, but even the 6th year growth also became asur because it's mevatel. The gedulin is mevatel the heta, and that is similar to the case of Rabbi Yochanan that the Tosefes of Tevel is going to be the original kilo of chulin, and if Chisda said it doesn't pay that becomes 7th year, that remains 6th year. It stays the way it is. Nothing's batal anything. The Gemara said that's Rav Shimon Gamliel. The Gemara answers, Rav Chisda says Tana Kama that Akash was Tana Kama Nami Yachi Yama. The answer is Rav Chisda will say Kula Masisa Rav Shimon Gamliel Katanila. So the Rosh says that's the end of the teretz. Kula Masisa Rav Shimon Gamliel Katanila and Achnami are that this brayso is that a brayso Mishnah I forgot this halacha is Tanan, the Solon Shir, the Mishnah, and the kasha was that's Rav Shimon Gamliel Shita. So he says yes, Rav Shimon Gamliel, even though it was a Stam Tana, we'll say no. It goes according to that Tana that it stays half and half. You don't have a right from the Mishnah of the onions of 6th and 7th that the whole thing becomes asur. It could be Rav Shimon Gamliel is talking, and the 7th remains 7th, the 6th remains 6th, and nothing's remarkable anything.
That's because it's on the border.
No, he was talking about the 6th year onion going into the 7th year. You had an onion which
But
was
what
growing in
was,
the
what
60th.
was the Tanya?
This case was a case of something on the border, and it says whatever's chai, whatever's pater. I don't know the details over there. I can't say anymore. I don't know the details. Some case
It
about
was
being
in
on Eretz
Chutz
Yisrael.
La'aretz, so-
Partly Chuslar is partly Eretz
Yeah.
Yisrael. We can look at Rush over here.
Well, that's okay. So in other words, it didn't mean any, in Chutzlars, it doesn't mean anything that. it
There's something
said
about
it
part.
here.
No, yeah, nothing with Shviyah. Nothing to do with
Nothing to do
Shviyah.
with Shvi, so
Nothing
what
with
does that have to
Shviyah.
do?
Here it is. Gabi Shema Gamliel Gabi Ilich
That's the
Mikzas
true
Omer
us,
Bi Ores
true us.
Amazas Omer B'Chuslar Ores the Hagadol B'Chiyav Chai Pater.
Chiyuv on what? Chiyuv of
Yeah,
Shvi.
yeah, whatever Stali Barbas, whatever mitzvahs you have to do in Eretz Yisrael. The part that is Eretz Yisrael is Eretz Yisrael. The part that's Choslar is Choslar. You don't say that the whole tree has to have one status. You can have a tree part
Right.
status, very small part, and the Gemara compares that to our case. Could you have an onion which is partly shishas, partly shvius? One onion.
Obviously, you can't compare them, right?
The Gemara says that they are comparable,
Oh, okay.
and the Gemara is asking that it's only of Shimon Gamliel over there. Everybody argues on him, says you can't have one thing that has two status.
Uh-huh.
And he says, he's saying that our Bryce, our Mishnah of the onion of 6th and 7th is also is going to be a dual identity. It's going to be partly 6, partly 7. Is that Shimon Gamliel? So he says it's of Shimon Gamliel.
Oh,
The answer is Kula Masisa of Shimon Gamliel Katanila. The author of that Mishnah is of our Mishnah of the onion of the 6th and the 7th is of Shimon Gamliel. But Achanami, the Rabbanan will say that you can't have an onion which is partly, and okay, I don't know what to continue. This is how the Rush explains the Gemara. And now the Gemara continues, and I'm really lost over here. I'll just read the way the Rush explains. Ba'ad Khan, this is the Rush says is a new teretz. The Rush says that Ba'ad Khan is the second teretz. The first teretz is Kula Masisa of Shimon Gamliel Katanila, period. Teretz number 2, Ba'ad Khan Hashamat Leili of Shimon Gamliel the Lo Katorach. Aval Hecha the Katorach, Batal Beruba. Reb Shimon Gamliel that says over there that you give it one thing dual identity.
Yeah.
That's only when you didn't trouble to do anything. Like over there, the tree was growing on the border half and half, and he didn't do anything about it. It wasn't you that did anything. So over there he says whatever's chayv, whatever's potter. But over here that you were toreach, then what? You have the onions that you're planting in the next year. So then batal beruba. Now that doesn't make sense to me because now we're being machmir. We're saying that Shimon and Gamliel will say over here that is batal beruba because he's toreach. Here comes that here's going to be a chumrah. Everything's going to become masa. You have, I don't know what he's going to say. How much did it grow in the 7th year? It grew partly in the 6th year, and it grew partly in the 7th year. And since he was toreach to do what? To plant in the 7th year. That it grew into the 7th year. And the Sefer it says 7th to the 8th. But in the Reisha it says, we talk about the part of the Reisha where it says 6 into the 7th. And the question was if it's all Asa, top line, it said Asurin. What does it mean Asurin? So Rabbah was of the opinion that everything is Asa. Rav Chisda was trying to get out of it and say that it's partly Asa, partly Mutter. And that's the only of Shimon and Gamliel. And the Gemara is answering that here, that he was Tareach, Rav Shimon Gamliel is also going to agree that everything is Asa.
What's the tree
Because he was Tareach.
that he planted?
That he planted it, let's say.
So what with the tree, you didn't plant it?
He didn't do anything to make it partly Asa, partly Mutter.
He planted it somewhere.
I guess
And
it
then
wasn't.
it
It wasn't.
grew in both places.
Yes, something like that. Something like that. But over there, he holds that you leave a double identity. But when he was Toreach, so then the Chachamim were concerned that he was Toreach, and therefore what? The therefore doesn't end off. The Rosh doesn't end off the therefore. Therefore, everything is awesome. It doesn't seem to read. I would say it doesn't seem to make sense. Like it doesn't flow. And I don't have a pshat. The Ran is altogether different over here, so I can't jump on both pshatim. I don't know the Ran. But the Rosh is learning the whole thing is talking about if you say that the Gedulim are Mavato the Iker or not. And Rabbi Yochanan was saying that it does not. Rav Chisda was saying that it does. The kasha was by the case of the onions over here, the word asurin, if it means the whole thing becomes asa, from the 6th to the 7th, the whole thing becomes asa because of the 7th growth, asa the 6th growth. And Rav Chisda says that it stays half-half, it stays whatever percentage it is, whatever grew in the 6th is the 6th, and it's mutter, whatever grew in the 7th is asa. And the kasha was only of Shimon Gamliel holds that you leave something with the dual identity. And the answer is here was Tareach. And I'm stuck. I can't even finish a sentence. Over here is Tareach if everything is Asa. That doesn't seem to me. So I don't know. That's what how the Rush reads it. And it doesn't say the end of the sentence. Since he's Tareach, therefore you're going to make everything is going to be Asa. I don't get that. The Gemara asks the kasha, continues the kasha. I'm getting more and more shaky as I go along. So please.
It says,
You're looking at the Gemara and the Rush. Ad kan l'kshamat leili Rav Shimon Gamliel that it stays double identity the lo katarach like by the tree. So mutter chayv pater pater. Avalecha the katarach Like the case of the onion, from the 6th to the 7th, batal beruba. What does that mean? Batal beruba, and therefore everything's asa. That doesn't make sense. You should be more lenient to the guy that he was Tareh. Since he was Tareh,
He did something.
the Rosh here says, just read the Russian sign. Bad come like Hashem later of Hashem Gamil, she knew Yachrina Ko Mashani. First of all, it's different terrors. That's also the words don't fit so well. Dochi Pirusha, how the Kasha looked at this time of the Tzolim and Rav Shimon Gamliel are saying the same thing. And over there, Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer sounds like he's the only one who says so. Hach Svar Vadi Rav Shimon Gamliel Lo Sava. The Hach Tana de Besolim. Rav Shimon Gamliel does not hold like the Tana of Besolim. That kan l'sham that those words I didn't get. That kan l'sham Rav Shimon Gamliel the Yeshnam le'Iser ve'Heter ve'Makom Echad lo mevatli that the wonders of Shimon Gamliel say that you say double identity, Asur and Mutter, and they don't outdo each other. Elahechad the Lo Torah from the Elon, the Ari Bay, by the tree didn't do anything. Aval B'Tzolim the Torah l'Zaran Chashu Chachamim Al Tirchol was Svirulei Hach Svara. That what? So I'm stuck. Svirulei Svara that it does become batal, and what happens if it becomes batal and everything is asa? That doesn't sound like Pashu Chachamim Al Tirchol. They cared about his tirchon. They said everything is asa. I don't get it.
That's what Rav Shimon Gamliel would hold. But
And what's he going to say? Okay, you could say the asa by means. Okay, you could say what you're saying. Yes, yeah, that he says what you said. That here that it says asa, it means only partly asa. But Rav Shimon Gamliel will say the whole thing is asa. Is that how you're going to say it? The question is, if the Gidulam are Mavatal the Issa, and here it says that the Gidulam of the 7th, Asa, and it says, the question is, does it Asa the 6th growth also or not? So the Rabbi Torah says over here that the whole thing is Asa. Rav Chisda said, no, the Asa is Asa, the Mutter is Mutter. That's Rav Shimon Gamliel. No, Rav Shimon Gamliel won't agree to over here, because he's going to say, what?
It was terrible.
And therefore, what? Therefore, the whole thing is Asa.
this is not Rav Shimon Gamliel. Rav
Well,
Shimon Gamliel would say it's asa.
The whole thing is Asa. And here,
But here, it's Chachamim. It's not Rav Shimon Gamliel.
and therefore,
And therefore, it's not Rav Shimon. It's half and half.
so do I see that in the words of the Rosh?
Here it's half and half, but it's not Rav Shimon Gamliel's half and half because he wouldn't agree to any of this.
What would he say?
He would say Chachamim.
He would say the whole thing is Asa. Let's say Asa over here means partly Asa.
No.
And Hashem will say the whole thing is Asa. The whole thing is Asa. Maybe I'm making a basic mistake, but I don't get it. It seems that if you say that it's batal, then everything becomes Asa. Not everything becomes mutter. It sounds like they started in the 6th and went into the 7th. The question of is going to be the Iker is the 6th. We're talking about the case of the Bresha. The 6th went into the 7th. So I don't know how to read the words. But if I may continue, or else we're going to be stuck here. So I don't know how to read the Gemara over here. Then the next Gemara also I don't understand. The Gemara continues. Now you're taking the side that when you are Toreach, when he was trying to do something, he did something. So then you do say bittul berov. Bittul berov, let's just imagine it means a way that it's going to become mutter. But with litra ma'aser tevel, the katorach, the katani, also litra ma'aser lavi makom ma'acher. So we're jumping now another page. We did first and then Zayin of the base, Nam and Chesam of the base. That talked about the case of Ma'aser Tevel. Ma'aser Tevel meant that you had Ma'aser that was not taken off. You had too much Ma'aser, and you should have taken off too much Ma'aser, but you didn't. You planted it, and it grew another 9 kilo. So it says, yeah, you look at it two ways. You machmir both ways. You say that you have to take off Ma'aser on the whole thing. The whole thing is Tevel, but don't forget that the original kilo is not really Tevel. The original kilo is really Ma'aser, but you have to take off too much Ma'aser, and therefore it says that also litra that the original Ma'aser Tevel that you planted, besides giving Ma'aser on the whole thing as if it will be Tevel, also remember that it's really Ma'aser Tevel, and you have to take off too much Ma'aser and take off too much Ma'aser from someplace else. What does it say? What does this mean? That it's not batal. This says that it's not batal. The original Ma'aser Tevel is not batal, and therefore you have to take off too much Ma'aser from it. And what's he asking? That you just finished saying that if you were Toreach, then you do say bittul. Here it would flow. I just didn't get that line before. But here the kasha would be, if you feel that when you're Toreach, then the Gedulim am batal deker. So here also you had Meiser Tevel and you went to the Tircha. You shouldn't have done it. You should have taken the Tumas Meiser. You did bad. But the fact that you were Toreach, they try to be Matir, I guess. So the whole thing becomes, and the more is asking, the whole thing should become Tevel. And you should forget about the fact that it was once upon a time Meiser. You should say that it loses this identity. Shani Gabi Meiser, the answer is Shani Gabi Meiser, Damakro Aser Ta'aser. That Teva Zari Inshi is Surah Lo Zari Inshi. The Rosh over here says Aser Ta'aser is called to Boaz Levacha. Where's the Rosh? Just to find the Rosh over here. Aser Ta'aser. So Soch Laser is called Masha Gadol B'Sada. The Lo Yinakem Min Cheshbon Atfuah Shez Zora Shoisa Kvar Mitukenes Tajwel Tivla. Here the pasuk is going to teach us that you have to be master all that you planted, and even if you planted chulin, the Rosh points out, even if you planted chulin, it loses its identity, and yet consider it tevel. But dafke metukenesh shadei chadam lizroa aval yisura the lo zari yinshi lo hadro tivla. It's the difference if you planted chulin or you planted ma'aser. If you plant or if you planted chulin, you don't say that it retains its identity. I said Tasha is called to Boaz Levacha. Who said about this? Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan is the one who said that you have to do the whole thing. That's why Rabbi Yochanan's halacha was. If you planted chulin mitukenin, you don't say that it retains its identity of chulin. He said you have to be machmir over there. He was saying more than be machmir. He's saying it's a pasuk. Before we said it's only a chumrah, that really the gedulim are not mevatel the chulin. But l'chumra, we say the gedulim are mevatel l'chulin, and it has to, you have to be master on the whole thing. Here the Gemara is stronger. The Gemara doesn't say l'chumra. Here the Gemara says that's a pasuk. Aser ta'aser is called to Boaz Levacha. Whatever you plant, you have to be master, and even if you planted chulin, it becomes tevel again. And therefore the gedulim. In other words, the words that we would have used is the gedulim are mevatel the ikar. He says, I don't know, gedulim matel. The pasuk says so. The pasuk says that you have to master everything that you planted. But what the pasuk is talking about is talking about what the normal. The normal thing is that people plant, but Yisura, people don't usually plant. That pasuk is not talking about that. So if you planted tevel, ma'aser tevel, so then what? Then it retains its identity, and you have to take off chumas ma'aser from that ma'aser tevel that you planted. Is that good? Is it good? Not good? The Gemara is attacked. The Gemara said as Svara that if you were Toreach, so we say that the Gedulim are mevatel. And if you, the Gemara's kasha was, if you planted Tevel Meiser, how come over there it retains its identity? So the Gemara seems to be falling off. It's not a chilik if you're mevatel, if you were Toreach or not. The pasuk says, it seems that in general, we're going to say that whenever you plant something, you have to, it all becomes Tevel, but that's only if you planted Chulin. But if you planted Isser, it doesn't say that pasuk. The Gemara seems at this point, I don't know, to forget about the whole sugya about Gedulim being mevatel deker. It's a pasuk. Aser, as far as planting chulin or tevel or ma'aser, if you plant chulin, you have to be master on the whole thing. And that the Gemara Toma would have called that the gedulim are mevatel the ikar, the tevel gedulim are going to be mevatel the ikar, which was chulin. Now the Gemara is saying it's a pasuk. And the other point, when you here it says that it is considered ma'aser tevel, and you have to take a chumas ma'aser. What does the Gemara do with that? The Gemara says it's not included in the pasuk. It's not included in the pasuk that says that everything becomes tevel. Okay, so it's not included in the pasuk. Now what?
The whole thing has nothing to do with Bittul B'Rov. It's just a pasuk, and in this situation, the pasuk is not.
So the pasuk applies to the case of chulin. When you plant a chulin, it becomes tevel. And that's from Rabbi Yochanan. And Rabbi Yochanan never meant anything about being mevatel. And what is it in being mevatel? Let's say there's no special pasuk. So is it mevatel or is it not mevatel? So and we had a kasha by the Ma'aser Tevel that it says that the Ma'aser Tevel.
The pasuk telling me
that. Yeah, the pasuk doesn't refer to that. Okay, so it doesn't refer to that. Now what? So it does not lose its identity, and it's still Ma'aser Tevel. And it's another way in our language. We would, just to sum up our language, we would say that here it says Gedulim are not mevatel the ikar. That's what it says. If you planted Meiser Teva, it's still considered, and it's Chayv Chumas Meiser, it's still Chayv Chumas Meiser. That's in our terminology, we would say that Gidulim are not Mevata, which is fine. It means Rabbi Yochanan, we learned the Rabbi Yochanan the whole time like that. If we look in the backstage, Rabbi Yochanan was one who said Gidulim are not Mevata. We had a problem that he said that how come when you plant Chulin it is Chayiv? So now we have a pasuk for that. And we'll still retain. So now as far as Rabbi Yochanan and Avchis, everyone's on the same side. Gidulim are not Mevata. Okay? Just to sum up everything so far, that there was a machlokes from 2 pages, or now it's already 3 pages already. If Gidulim are Mevatel the Iker, Rabbi Yanai said yes. Rabbi Yochanan said not. The Gemara Kasha from Shvius over there says by Shvius 7 to the 8th year it is Mevatel. And the Gemara said that's different because it happens by itself without any manual input. So over there, the Gidulim are Mevatel. The 8th year will be Mevatel at 7. The Gemara on this page seemed to turn back the other direction. That Rabbi Yochanan was the one who was saying that the Gidulim are Mevatel, and at the end, because he says that the Chulin that you planted is Chayiv, you have to be Maser it also. The Gemara comes out of that as a pasuk, and nothing to do with the regular subject of Gidulim being Mevatel the Iker. And as far as that, Rabbi Yochanan said,
because the pasuk it doesn't come in under this cloud.
I guess so. That whatever you planted, and the normal way of planting is Chulin.
Double
So
language.
right, it's called to Wazerecha.
Uh-huh.
I think it says because I said Taser is called to Wazerecha. The end of the pasuk.
Oh,
Because all of your seed, you have to, and the Gemara even what you plant. Even though you planted the Chulin, you have to be maser it again when you maybe because of the double lashon, like you said, I don't know. So yeah, so this Allah Rabbi Yochanan that before the Gemara said the answer is there's only being machmir. There's a chumrah to say that you have to be maser with kulan. Now the Gemara is saying that it's the raisa, and as far as the sugya, it doesn't affect the whole sugya. Gidulin are not mevatel the ikar. Now the Gemara ends off with a surprise. Gufa Amr Abchanina Tirta Amr Biyanai Batel Shal Shuma Shanot Rabbi Gidul Avi Korah Mutter. This was Rabbi Yanai we called the whole time. He was the one who was the maker. We had Rabbi Yanai against Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yonasan. Rabbi Yanai said talks about Truma, not only Shvius. He says that Truma also you planted a vessel of Truma, and the Gidulim are more than the Iker. It's Mutter. And we presented the sugya at the beginning 3 days ago that you have Gidulim of Heter and the Iker is Truma, and the Gidulim are Mevatel the Iker. And then Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yonasan argued. They said no. And the Gemara seems to say that they're right. Only Shvius is an exception. But what did Rabbi Yanai say? That the Gidulim of Heter are Mevatel the Iker of Truma. The Iker onion was Truma, and it grew, and the Gidulim are Mutter, and the Gidulim are Mater the Iker. So at the time I was saying this page over here it says that the Gidulim are Mutter for today. But now we're ready 2 days later, and the Gemara says a kasha, it's Fresh Mishnah that says Gidulei Truma is Truma. It happens to be one of the Yud Chesdava. Gidulei Truma. What are you talking about? You're talking about Gidulim of Heter should be Vatal the original onion. The Gidulim are also a Truma. The name of the Gidulei Heter.
I'm sorry. He said that.
He said the Gidulim. Yeah, the onion of Truma you planted, and now the Gidulim are outnumber the original onion. And it's mutter. The whole thing is mutter because the Gidulim, it's not Truma. The original Truma is not Truma. The Gidulim are surely not Truma. Yeah. And they outnumbered and there's Mevatel the original Truma. Yeah. And the Moskach is, it's a fresh Mishnah that the Gidulim are also Truma. Mm-hmm. But Tanan, top line, Gidulei Truma. It's fresh Mishnah, Gidulei Truma. It's one of the Yud Chesdava that the Gidulim is also Truma. You're talking about the Gidulim to nullify the Truma. The Gidulim are also Truma. That doesn't make we learned the whole sugya on the false pretenses, as if Gedulei Truma is Mechulin. And the question was, is it able to be Vatal Iker? Here it says that even the Gedulim are Truma. The answer is Gedulei Kamina. It's only the next generation. The growth of the growth means you're right. The Gedulei Truma is Truma. But the Gedulin, that the next gen, the third generation, that's already Chulin. And that's a Mishnah, and the Gemara says, you're right, it's a Mishnah.
That's what Rabbi Yanai meant.
That's what Rabbi Yanai meant. He meant Gedulin. The Gemara says, but that's simple already. Hanami Ketanina, Gedulin, Chulin. It's the same Mishnah that says Gedulin, Truma. It says in the third generation, it's Chulin. So what did Rabbi Yanai tell us? So I would say, of course, Rabbi Yanai told us. Rabbi Yanai told us that it's even Mevatel the Iker also. It's Mevatel the Iker.
Rabbi Yanai is a.
He's an Amor. He's a Rebbe of Rabbi Yochanan.
Oh, okay.
But the more Kash is that you have a Mishnah.
You have a Mishnah, so why do you have to teach it?
Right. The Gemara is going to take us for a ride for a second and bring us back. He meant to say that even an onion, which does not disintegrate, even over there, the Gidulim are Chulin. Means the din of Gidulei Truma is even by Davar that does disintegrate. Just a little bit the background over there. Over there, the Gemara says in Shabbos the reason why they made it Gidulei Truma, really Gidulei Truma should be Chulin. There's all this stuff over there of things, a bunch of things. Gidulim are really Chulin. Gidulei Tevel, Gidulei Shvius. There's a whole list of things, about 10 things. I wrote down the list over here. Gidulei Tevel, Gidulei Ma'aseh Rishon, Gidulei Shvius Shvius, Gidulei Trumas Puslores, Gidulei Meduma, Gidulei Bikurim. A whole list of things that the Gedulim are Chulin. Gidulei Truma is an exception. And the Gemara on Shabbos says the reason why they made an exception is because somebody might be smart and want to save the Truma, Tamea, whatever, to become edible. So he'll plant it. And he'll get Gedulim. And that means now Chulin or Truma Torah. So in order, and then it was a problem. Really, he's a technical, he did a good thing because he might eat it by mistake. Meanwhile, you see, wait for the next season, you're going to have a silo with Truma Tamea, somebody might eat it. So therefore they said it's not going to help you. Even if you're going to plant it, it's still Gidulei Truma. So the Gemara here says you're right, Gidulei Truma is true. Even Davash is Arikola, even wheat and barley, even though it disintegrates, but they made it Gzera, the Gidulei Truma should be Truma. But now it's saying on the Gidulim, the next generation, they didn't make it Gzera so far. So the third generation is Mutter, even Davash Ein Arikola, even if it doesn't disintegrate. Not only wheat, even an onion that doesn't disintegrate, the third generation is Mutter. The Gemara says that's not true. But Tanan, Hatevel, Gidula Vitorim, Davash is Arikola, Davash Ein Arikola, Gidula Vasurin. Even Tevel is much more lenient than Truma. Gidulei Truma is Truma. Gidulei Tevel is Chulin. But even Gidulei Tevel, which is Chulin, that's only when it disintegrates. But if it's Ein Zarikol, if it's an onion, so then even the third generation is Asa. So surely by Truma, the third generation is going to be Asa. So what are you telling me? That Gidulei are Mutter? What is Rabbi Yanai saying? That Gidulei is Mutter? The Gemara answers, he's saying, you're right, that Gidulin is Asa. Davash is Arikola, everything is Asa, even Gidulin. But that's only till it becomes Ro. But once it outnumbers the Ikar, so then everything becomes Mutter. End of the Gemara. The curtain closes. What happened over here? That we always knew, it goes back to the Rosh a little bit that said that the reason why the Gidulim are Asa is because they weren't able to be Mevatel the Ikar. So it comes out that they started with the Ikar, which is Asa, and now it starts having Gidulim. Either by Tevel or by Truma, Gidula, the next generation, but it comes out by Davash Ein Zarikola. The original thing is Asa. Whatever's coming out really should be Mutter. Even by Davash Ein Zarikola, even by an onion that doesn't disintegrate, the outgrowth really is Mutter. But it's not able yet to be Mevatel the Ikar. So the Ikar is being mitpashet, or call it Tam Ikar, whatever it might be, and it's answering the Gedulim. The only reason that the Gedulim Asa is because the Ikar is Asa, and it's answering the Gedulim. But once the Gedulim become so many that it's able to outnumber the Ikar, so it does that. Again, the Gedulim are really inherently mutter. The reason why they're Asa is because the Ikar is answering them. But the Ikar only can answer them as long as they're not the Rov. But once they become the Rov, then the Gedulim, not only are they mutter, they're also even able to be matir, the original one. This is Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yanai that's the whole back. You have to remember who's talking. Rabbi Yanai is talking.
Yeah.
Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yonasan argued. So in our Gemara, the question we got a pasuk like, but in our summary of the Gemara, Rabbi Yanai was the one who said Gedulim are mevatel the Ikar. Rabbi Yochanan said that they're not. The exception to that was Shemitah. By Shemitah, since it happens by itself, so Rabbi Yochanan agreed that it is. Also, the Gemara said another exception is, we just had a second ago, that when you plant chulin, it becomes tevel, because of the pasuk aser ta'aseh. Otherwise, the klal is that the gedulim are not matir, not mevatel deikah. But the Rebbeinu is the one who says that the gedulim are mevatel deikah. Here the Gemara explains that till it becomes rov, it's aser. The gedulim aser, gedulim aser, as long as it's not rov. Once it becomes rov, then it's mevatel deikah. That's Rabbi Yana. And Rabbi Yochanan is saying no, that it
The
doesn't.
third generation.
Even the third generation. Though Hashem Zara Kola, there's no difference how many generations, but that's only until it becomes a rove. Once it becomes a rove, then
The
they
third generation by itself has to be rove of the Iker. It has to be whatever is this 200 times. Whatever it is.
I think there's no difference between the second and the third generation. The Hashem Zara Kola is not by the onion, there's no difference of which generation it
They
is.
combine
Right.
to
And
make it.
together they'll be
together,
able.
but if it's rove.
Right. Gedulei Truma is different. Gedulei Truma is a special Zera on Gedulei Truma, so that's also going to become Masa. But maybe not. I don't know. We'll put that in the footnote, question mark. But with the regular Kololim, the Gedulim are mutter, but they're not able to be mutter until they're the robe. And it's a tug of war. As long as the Iker is robe, so they're also Masa. Once the Gedulim become robe, then they're mutter the Iker also. According to the Yana. And according to Yochanan and Yonasan, they're not able to be Mivatel, even if they're the robe. They can't be Mivatel the Iker, and therefore the Iker is what answers them. There's no state of being half and half. One of them has to win. It's like the Neshama and the Guf. Either the Neshama pulls up the Guf or the Guf pulls down the Neshama. They don't stay separate, each one. I do my thing, you do your thing. They're joined. So here, if the Gedulim are able to be Mivatel the Iker, everything becomes like the Gedulim, and if they're not, then that's Rov, and if it's Rov, it's able to be Mivatel it. And if the Iker is going to be Rov, or if you hold that the Gedulim are not able to be Mivatel the Iker, so then it's going to ask the Gedulim also. More or less.
Very good.
Yashikar. Thank you.